Well, now that we've explored some of the different charts that are available in Excel, let's see how to build a couple. In this lesson, we're going to go through building a simple column chart and a couple pie charts from a table of data. We'll also see how to modify a few of the chart settings. So the first step in building a chart is to make sure your data is formatted nicely into a table. Let's navigate to the Build Chart tab. First of all, make sure your data is contiguous. You don't want any spaces in the table at all. You don't want any blank columns. You don't want any blank rows. It is possible to make charts with the blanks in there. It's much easier without them. And typically blank rows and columns are just inserted to make your table more readable. There are other ways to do that. You can actually just make the row height larger if you need more space, and it's still one cell. Same with a column. If I need extra room, I can delete my spacer column, but then I can just make that one a little bit bigger so that I have that separation. Now our table should have column headers, and the most important category should be in the leftmost column. This column will become either your data series or the categories, so it's important that the first column be a grouping you wanted to pick. Also, it's a good idea to take totals off any columns or rows. If they are on the table, Excel will simply treat them as another data point, not a summarization of the parts, and it will chart it, and it will really skew the way the chart looks. Well, your table is now ready, so we're going to go ahead and build a column chart. Now, what we need to do is just click any cell in this table of data. Any one cell is fine. From the Charts tab, look at the Insert Chart group and pick the chart type that you would like to add. We're going to pick columns, so when we click that, we'll get all of our different values. Be sure at some time later to look at some of the different layouts that you have here, but for now we're just going to pick the very top one, the simplest one, the 2D clustered column. And that's it. Excel expanded your selection to include the whole table and made a chart. Now the values in column A became the data series. Brooklyn, Manhattan, and Queens. Brooklyn, Manhattan, and Queens, they're the data series across the points. The dates in row 3 became the data points along the x-axis. So if you wanted your chart to group the stores along the x-axis and have the dates be in the series, simply click the Switch Plot button on your charting toolbar. And now what we have is each store has its grouping. Each store is a data point, and each day of the week is a data series. Don't get really hung up on what's the data point and what's the data series. The biggest thing is just to make sure that your chart looks the way you want it to. We'll see how to modify other aspects of this chart in future lessons, but for now, let's see how to build a couple of pie charts. And I'm also going to move this out of the way. So let's go back to our table, and again, just click one cell in the table. Now from the Chart tab, go down here to your pie charts, and let's click that Insert Pie Chart and just choose the very first one, the pie. You notice that the chart is labeled Brooklyn. Well, remember the pie charts only display one data point or series, so it just took the first one it saw as the row labels. The series in this example are the dates, and the pie is segmented by each date. Here's the 5th, 6th, 7th, 10th, 12th, and 15th. If that's not exactly what you wanted, maybe you wanted to see the stores added up in aggregate. So then we can go up there and do the Switch Plot button just like we did in the column. And now we have a total broken down by store, Brooklyn, Manhattan, or Queens. Although there are definitely some limitation to pie charts, their useful feature is that they always graph all the components into one full pie. So it's easy to visualize what category accounts for the largest slice of the pie. To sum up, with all the different chart types available to you, it should be easy to choose a type that will help communicate your message. Typically though, the toughest part is figuring out what it is exactly that you want to communicate and what you want to highlight. In this lesson, we learned how to create a couple of simple chart types, and in the modules to come, we'll explore how to modify the charts we created in much greater detail.